Hello, my name is Barbara Williams. I've been using Lucis for over 17 years to create art. And today I just want to describe how easy it is to use Lucis to create all kinds of special effects. What you see here on the screen is the Lucis Processing User Interface. This is the same user interface regardless of whether you have the plug-in version of the software or the standalone version of the software. The first thing you'll notice is down the bottom here you have the enhanced detail slider and the smooth detail slider. These are the first things that you want to work with. The enhanced detail slider, the value over here says 225. This is an 8-bit image, and so if it was not underexposed, that number would be 257. But it is underexposed, so that's why it says 225. In order to pull detail out of this image throughout the image, in the dark, bright, and mid-range areas, all I have to do is move this slider to the left. And you'll see as I release it, all kinds of detail is popping up in this image. It really is incredible that with one slider, you can create absolutely as much detail as you want. And what I suggest is you experiment and try really looking at your image and seeing what happens when you really increase the detail, even down to the noise level, just to get a feel for what Lucis does. Even something like this image, which is so noisy, can be useful to add texture to your image. Over here to the right, you have the mix with original image slider, and you can mix back in the original image and get a nice kind of sandy look. Very flexible. So using the preview checkbox here, you can see the Lucis image, and if I uncheck it, you can see the original image. So as I continue to play with the enhanced detail slider, I'm going to reset this mix with original image slider and kind of move this back until I hit something that I really like. Maybe something about, say, here. So that's the enhanced detail slider. You literally are enhancing detail throughout the image. Moving the enhanced detail slider all the way to the right resets it so it's not really affecting the image. Now the smooth detail slider does the opposite. As you move it to the right, it's going to smooth image detail and create kind of a watercolor effect. And the amount that you smooth the image can be anything, that you like. It's hard for you to see this, but this is actually quite beautiful. And again, if you have something that you say, wow, I want a little bit more detail back, you can use the mix with original image slider to bring some of the detail back. So here we have the Lucis image, and here we have the original. You've created a watercolor effect. Moving the mix with original image slider all the way to the left resets it, and therefore the preview window is showing 100% of the processed image. Again, just to experiment and see, just try moving that smooth detail slider all the way over and get an idea of what Lucis can really do with your image. It really is amazing. Moving the smooth detail slider all the way back to the left resets it, and we're back with the original image. Using both sliders lets you pull out mid-range contrast patterns. For example, I can move the enhanced detail slider way down to here and then experiment with moving the smooth detail slider so I'm creating patterns in the image. I find it's useful to just have the two sliders pretty close together and then check the tie together checkbox. Now as I move one slider, the other one moves with me, and I can quickly get an idea of some of the potential of this image to really create some interesting artistic effects. And again, if I have something I like, I may want to bring back in a little bit of detail with the mix with original image. But again, it just depends on your taste. If I move this slider too far down, then of course I lose the smooth detail slider. But again, see how it just tracks. I have to uncheck the tie together box if I want these two sliders to have a difference between them. Then I can put tie together again and again experiment very easily by moving this one side slider to see what my image holds for me. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about what are these sliders really doing to your image. Okay, so let's move the enhanced detail slider back and the smooth detail slider back, and I'll tell you what they're doing. So the first thing Lucis does is it works with intensity information. It is comparing each pixel to every other pixel along hundreds of radial lines to map out relative contrast. So right now I'm looking at everything. But when I move this slider to say 161, what Lucis is doing is it's saying, okay, differences in contrast variances that are 161 intensity levels or less, I'm going to enhance those differences. I'm going to make those contrast differences easier to see. And then contrast variances that are greater than 161 intensity levels, I'm not going to throw them away, but I'm going to reduce them so they're less obvious to the eye. So if I keep moving this down, the reason detail pops up everywhere is because Lucis is increasing the contrast variances of the smallest image detail so that I can see it. So again, resetting that, let's talk about what is the smooth detail slider doing. Well, the smooth detail slider is doing the reverse. When I move it up to say 21, that means that contrast variances that are 21 intensity levels or less are being diminished. So I'm reducing contrast. I'm reducing the contrast variances of the smallest detail. If I'm moving both sliders, then I am only enhancing contrast variances that are in values between the two sliders. So in this picture, I'm enhancing contrast variances that are greater than 61 intensity levels and less than 81 intensity levels. And I'm diminishing contrast variances that are outside of that range. So literally with these two sliders, you're exploring your image, and then Lucis is enhancing and diminishing contrast variances. It's almost as if it is treating your image like Play-Doh. And you can create all kinds of special effects. One of the other great secrets and wonder of this product is once I process an image, I can bring that image back into Lucis and have a whole new set of contrast variances to play with. Anyhow, I hope that this has given you a little bit of clarity about how the enhanced detail and smooth detail sliders work. I'm going to create another YouTube video where I'll talk about how to use split channels. That's the control over here. When you click on split channels, you can use these two sliders to enhance each red, green, blue channel separately, which lets you do incredible things. Anyhow, goodbye for now and have a wonderful day.